All right, everyone, welcome back to the Coyote Radio Show and Podcast. We got a great guest today. Kayla von der Heide is with us. She's from Arizona. She's got a great voice, a whole Western vibe theme going on with her music. I really enjoy it. It's kind of spacey. I like it. Definitely check her out. She's got some stuff on Spotify and social media. You can follow her on Instagram, places like that. But yeah, we're going to talk to her, kind of get her story, see what she's all about and how she makes her music. Got a couple announcements I do want to say before we do that. Pickin in the Backwoods is now available. Tickets are out there. Go to pickininthebackwoods.com. Link in the description. It's a limited number for that festival. There's 20 bands in 2 days in Southern Indiana. Put together a killer lineup. Most of them have been on this podcast, so I hope you like that and grab them before they're gone because I have a pretty good feeling that they'll sell out due to the limited number that we're even gonna have out there. So check that out. Got to give it up to the sponsors, Duke's Indie. Check out my favorite honky tonk. They got a whole list to schedule online. See who's coming to town, who's not. If you're traveling through, stop in there and get some fried chicken, have a beer. You'll love it, trust me. And then we got to give it up for Bar Distillery down there in Kentucky. Great, great bourbon, along with some other drinks. They're winning some awards on some blueberry drink or something right now. I got to go look. I shouldn't even say that because I don't totally know, but they're winning awards. That's cool. But I'm a fan of the bourbon, so check out their Cinder and Smoke. That's top shelf stuff there that I really enjoy. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. Let's go talk to Kayla and get her story. All right, Kayla Von der Heide, right?
Their head, yeah, that was good though.
Close. Von der Heide.
Better than
Yep.
some.
I'm a taxidermist, so I deal with deer.
Yeah.
And it's a
Well,
hide, so it makes a lot of sense to me that way.
yeah, no, you gotta like make a riddle for yourself of people's names and things sometimes to remember them. Probably because you meet so many people too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, thanks
thank
for being on. I appreciate taking the time to do this. So,
you for having me and taking the time too.
yeah. Um, so I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. It's probably about 2 years. I don't, maybe three. I don't even know when I first stumbled across your music. And actually, I had another artist that was on this show mention your name one
Oh,
time too. Charlie Marks. Do you know
oh
Charlie?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he name dropped you one time. He's like, you should get her on the show. She's really cool. And I was like, all right, yeah. I was checking out the music. I'm like, it's got a cool, like, ghostly vibe that's going on out west. And I just thought it was neat. Like, it's unique. I don't feel like a lot of artists sound like you, and that's hard to do.
Well,
You know,
thank you.
have your own style.
Thank you.
So if you could kind of just start at the beginning, how'd you get into music and where you grew up and all that good stuff?
Well, I feel like it's like a bundle of things that I do. So I feel like that's kind of what created the different style or whatever of music because I started doing photography and just like with the visuals and putting that to music and stuff. And I just always liked like the Western, like Western movies and the music that goes with it. I like Quentin Tarantino and things
Yeah.
like that. And I'm like, I'm obviously not as cool as that, but it was always like very inspiring to me. Like to try to like create like a just a whole vibe, of your own and like he has. And so I think that's kind of like why it kind of like went into its own style, but it's definitely very me. And yeah, I don't expect everyone to get it, but
Yeah.
that's cool that Charlie gave a little shout out. He's super cool. He lives like in my favorite land out on the 395. It's like so dreamy with Jenna, who's his girlfriend or fiance now, who's like so awesome.
Yeah.
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 They get the vibe out there, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Tarantino fan too.
Yeah, I don't know why that just came up, but I think like that's kind of like a big inspiration is just putting video to things and trying to like make a vibe of my
Right.
own. Yeah.
Photography, well, I went to school for photography. What are you working digital film? Like what's kind of like your
I did well I started with like my mom's little film camera from the 80s. I couldn't tell you anything now because it was a while ago. Um Sorry if you hear snoring. It's not me like heavy breathing, it's my dog. But I started with that just kind of like that got me interested in it. My great grandpa did it too. He did film and all that. And I guess it was kind of in our blood a little bit. But I got my first digital camera around the time that like MySpace was around. And that's kind of like what, we just did it for fun and we'd go to like abandoned places in the desert and have our cool emo, MySpace, like our cool pictures and people
Yeah.
eventually were asking me about, doing it professionally. And then I did it for like 10 years doing weddings and I wasn't really doing music until probably like until you heard me. Like that's probably why I was just like flopped into this wild world and I was like, I don't know how to do this. But
Yeah.
it's been a journey. It's been really cool.
Would that kind of line up with like when the pandemic hit then maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything shifted. Like I see, did it feel like that for you? Like did the pandemic shift everything for you in your life?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason why I even started this podcast.
Oh, really?
Stuck at home, nothing else to do, and I was like, hey, I like music. Let me just talk to people.
Yeah, like
So
it
it's
kind
just
of brought out like your, I don't know, like a weird version of your true self. Just
yeah,
like why not?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah, it's weird how the world was. I don't even want to talk about it, how crazy it was,
Yeah,
but
I think we're all going
there is
through.
good that came out of it too, if you look at the positives,
Yeah.
like you wouldn't have been maybe you wouldn't have been playing music and now you have all this cool art in the world.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that that was just like what, 3 years ago or four now. It
Yeah,
feels
it's like a
it,
blur. It
yeah, it
really
feels
is.
the longest. Like it feels like so long ago, the
Yeah.
pandemic.
So did you
But
grow up like what were you listening to growing up music wise?
oh, this one's like an interesting question because I wasn't shown like really cool folky music until later on when I started learning guitar, which was around the time I was like 17. And my guitar teacher who showed me like just the basics, so she was an old lady and she like my first song that I learned was Tom Dooley.
Oh
So
yeah.
like a good introduction into like that whole world and I just really connected with it. And but I grew up listening. I mean, I was like your typical like 2000s, little kid that like, loved Britney Spears and like, I just would like I was like a little weird hermit with my headphones and I got, I had like a Hello Kitty like CD. What were they called? Walkman,
Yeah.
I wasn't very cool.
Discman.
So I like I give credit to like all my bad boyfriends and bad friendships that showed me cool music,
Yeah.
Good
Other than
people.
that, it was just kind of what was popular on the radio at the time, sort of deal.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And
Yeah.
but I like I really like I really tended to like desert rock music in my like in high school and stuff. I started to get into like the Black Angels or like Brian Jonestown Massacre. I have a whole wave. I was into like atmosphere and hip hop, and I just I do credit those to my bad young relationships though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool.
yeah, it's all
And
over
I
the
mean,
place.
that explains a lot of like when I hear your music and your sounds and the feeling that comes. I can hear a lot of that coming through.
That's cool.
Same
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, and like the recent EP that we did, and some of them like you can hear a little bit of like like a hip hop kind of influence in one of the songs that we did on the recent one. It's called In Your Energy. It has kind of like a cool, dreamy, like bassy vibe that
Yeah,
reminds me of that. So it's like that's a big part of me.
yeah. I had that EP on today at work.
Oh,
We should
awesome.
mention that. The Desert.
Yes.
It's cool. I like the album art too, or whatever you want to call it, the cover art to it.
You. Yeah, I did
Kind
it
of
all
like
by myself.
mysterious. You can't really quite tell who the figure is, but then you kind of know.
Yeah, I was inspired by this old picture of my great grandpa for that, which will actually be like the CD that comes out. I'll send you one.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
it has like just a cool old photo of my grandpa, and he's like has an old guitar. We can't figure out what kind of guitar it is. Maybe some guitar enthusiasts will be up for the challenge, but
Yeah,
I want to like recreate that.
could be like one of those old school, just like back in the day when people would order stuff out of Sears catalogs, like banjos and guitars. It could be one of those.
Probably, yeah.
On the time period, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I'll send you the photo later on, or I'll probably make a post about it soon. But when you see the side by side, you could tell that I was, and it's so strange because the young version of him looks just so much like my brother, like my little brother, just like it's weird to
Right.
see.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that EP has 5 songs on it.
Hmm.
I love the opening track too, which is also called The Desert, right? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Like the I don't know, it's kind of just like the intro, just like I you're just like almost waiting. It's almost cinematic, like you mentioned, like out of these westerns, like you're waiting for
Yeah.
that next thing to hit or the next sound, and it just kind of takes you on a little ride. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I credit all of it's kind of a fun process, like the way that all these recordings have evolved because I record with my friends back in Southern California, and his little studio, his name's Javi, and his studio is called the Stro Records, STRO. I just want to like shout it out because he's just awesome. And it's kind of fun because I'll just go in there and like record my acoustic, and I just let him, I'm just like, I'm not gonna be like, I won't hover, just like do your thing. And he kind of like goes in there, and it's like his artwork that he adds in all these like sounds, and I don't hear it until it's all done. And I feel very lucky to have him. There's times where I like change things, but we've been doing it now since the pandemic too. Since the word around, we've been like recording together, and we've both evolved like so much in like both of our our creative abilities, I think. So it's cool to hear that evolution.
Right, right. So when you perform, are you more 9 times out of 10 just solo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have my friend now, Jacob, that I just met out here. He plays the electric with me now, and he tries to like do kind of a westerny. I feel so lucky, like for after playing alone and kind of traveling alone and doing that, like when you have a dedicated person with you that you actually vibe with, it's such a blessing. So
Right.
he's, yeah, I don't take it for granted. So yeah, it's just
That's
been me
cool.
and him lately.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have
What do you
plans on like hitting the road?
I want to. Like it's just all like financial stuff that ever like gets in my way. But I know people that do it. Like I've talked to people that are like, I only have $100 right now in my bank account, and I'm doing it. And I'm like, you're right. Like I need to just do it.
Yeah, you gotta chase the dream, I guess. It'd
Yeah,
be a cool experience regardless, you know?
yeah, I love just like even making, an adventure out of wherever you get to go to, and like finding the history everywhere, shooting like abandoned things and making a whole like event out of it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. So what's your I guess your next project? You mentioned a record. Is it gonna be like how many tracks would be on that
Um, well, I think I'm just gonna get like a CD printed of this. Like I said,
of the
everything.
EP?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do everything by myself, so I have to like save for everything and But eventually it'd be really cool to I've had some people ask if I had like a vinyl or something, but that would be really cool to make something like that. But
Yeah.
I just like yeah, making it I want to just travel around more and meet more people. I'm like a very introverted person, so I have to push myself to do all this stuff, but like it's so worth it because I love it. And I want to
Right.
get the word out there. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you ever make it out this way in the Midwest, let me know. Maybe I can help somehow or get you on some gigs or something.
That'd be
That's a
awesome.
long way from Arizona, so
It is, yeah. But
yeah.
it'll happen. It'll happen when like the time's right, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, where are you born and raised there?
In Arizona?
Yeah.
No, I'm from Southern California, but just
Okay.
like the desert part, it's a do you know where like have you been to like Victorville, Apple Valley,
No, I haven't been in that part of the country.
or Barstow? Oh, okay. Yeah, then you wouldn't know.
No.
Everyone says it's on the way to Vegas. That's like the way to describe it. So
Okay.
all desert. It looks very deserty too. And
Yeah. I've been to Joshua Tree.
yeah, it has that vibe. There's
Okay.
Joshua. I'm like it's about like an hour and a half outside of it. So
Okay.
a same kind of vibe, but just different people completely in more
Right.
depth. Yeah.
Uh, the scene there seems really cool though, like in Bisbee alone.
Yeah, there's so many like I've been playing so much more since I've got out here. It kind of like pushes you to do it because there's nothing really else to do here. Like you probably like could go nuts if you didn't push yourself to go out here because it's kind of isolated.
Yeah.
So it pushes you to go out and there's like always open mics or people traveling through, different musicians traveling through. It's kind of crazy the people that come through here. It's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so far down there on the border and everything. It's just like doesn't seem like it'd be in a path to go anywhere like big city, but I like I said, I'm not familiar with the area. It'd be like
Yeah.
almost going out of the way to go there to go somewhere else.
It's cool though. Like if you like, you know, I always recommend you could do like a pit stop in Tombstone. You know, Tombstone, Arizona is right here, and then you roll over here. And I didn't even know this place existed until I went to Tombstone, and everyone's like, you have to go to Bisbee, and then I just it felt like the small like version of New Orleans or something. There's all these jazz musicians playing and like
What? That's
butterflies
awesome.
everywhere. Yeah, it was just like this magical place that pulled me in, and everyone was just so welcoming. I recommend it just to like if you like Old West history or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
It's,
that's all up my alley. Uh,
yeah,
I
really cool.
noticed on there's a handful of artists that I follow that are from that area, so it's just like, or call that area home at least. And
Yeah.
just by all the pictures and even the pictures you've shared over the years of the area and stuff, I was just like, man, it looks really cool.
And you see everybody walking around like this place needs like a reality show because you'll just walk down the street and you're like, oh hey, there's that, all these different artists probably that you're following. You bump into them because it's so small. Like
Right.
every almost, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have to
it's
make it out there someday. I like traveling and I like old ghost towns and all that stuff too.
yeah. It's like a this loner connection thing, I think, to ghost towns. Because it's just like this cool I don't know, there's just this remnants of like what once was, and it kind of makes you it reminds you that life is like so fast and short, So I think that's why I always was drawn to them. I just like it just kind of grounds you a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember going to one ghost town. Speaking of ghost towns, we got to talk about ghost towns. Uh,
I'm
went to Yosemite National Park. Was on the way there from Vegas, actually.
Was it Bodie?
That's it.
That's my
Bodie.
dog. That's what I named my dog after.
After that town
Yeah.
was like a silver mining town, right? And just like,
It's gold. I think it was gold there.
was
I
it
mean,
gold?
California is the gold mining
Right.
town. Yeah.
And
So
after that dried up, everyone just left, man. Like all their like belongings were in those houses still.
I know, and
It's
I'm
just
so glad
crazy.
they haven't like commercialized it very. It's like the one ghost town that is really untouched. I think that's why I love it.
Yeah, I was amazed. Like I got some really cool pictures of that place. Actually, that church there is really neat.
Yeah,
The whole
just
thing is
how
awesome.
they're all like melting into the ground. All the buildings are all. It just looks
Yeah.
like a weird dream.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
just doesn't even seem like a real place.
I know.
It's neat
How
though.
yeah, just how everybody left. I know there's like 60 saloons there versus like one church. So it was a real Wild West area. I know that they
Uh,
have like some funny stories about gunfights there. It wasn't like a cute, like
yeah.
churchy
This
ghost
isn't
town.
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah,
This is
it
some
wasn't
crazy
at
thing
all.
going on.
Yeah, I have a book about it. There's some crazy, I mean, I couldn't imagine living in that kind of those kind of elements, and
Yeah.
I would go nuts too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you grew up that way or something, you probably wouldn't know any different, I guess. So,
That's true. Yeah,
but like, yeah, after living this life, then going to that, that'd be a little different for sure.
I know. I wish they could just come back from the dead and just like get to experience how spoiled we are now. I feel like they deserve it, some of these miners.
Yeah. So, you draw inspiration from all this different things that we've talked about in your music and your visual presentation and just the whole thing. How do you go about writing? Do you just sit down with a guitar, work out some chords and write it, or do you write lyrics first, then bring in a guitar, or what's kind of your process?
I have fun with like melodies first, and it sounds weird, but like I'll just be strumming on guitar and like try to come up with like a little melody that goes along with it, and then the words will come. And sometimes I'll just like put my phone recorder on, and just there's so many embarrassing like gibberish songs in there where you can't even understand what I'm saying, but then like later on I'll kind of like that'll be kind of like the framework. And sometimes it feels like there's some kind of like something coming down, and I'm like, whoa, that was actually a cool lyric that I just said there. And yeah, I have a lot. I feel like my phone is mostly like the storage is always getting full, probably because of voice memos.
Right, right. Yeah, I ask a lot of artists that same question because I always find it fascinating. I don't think I have really that ability um, to make anything good anyway. You can always play, but to be anything, I am
I think
definitely not a writer.
we all face that. Like you have to, you know, I
Right.
think like so many artists think that they suck, but they don't. So you have to like it's mostly you that gets in the way of like I'm the one that gets in the way of myself the most.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's kind of like when you hear kids that sing, they get a little older and they're still singing, and their parents are still telling them, "You're good," because it's mom and
mhm,
dad telling them. But then they
yeah.
get on the outside world and they're like, don't do that."
It's like you have to be so strong in the music world. Like it's even if you're not good and if you go out there and put yourself out there, that's really brave. But I
Yeah.
know what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
when your parents like your stuff, you're like, oh, just shut up, mom. No, I
What?
appreciate my mom.
Yeah. Um, were you on one of the reality TV shows?
Oh yeah, I was on The Voice.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
a, there's I don't watch it, so that's why I thought I remember
Oh,
seeing a picture and stuff, but man, it's so funny how many people I've been talking to lately that just like nonchalantly would, "Oh yeah, I was on." I was like, "What?
yeah,
Talk about that experience."
it was a very out of my comfort zone, but I mean, when you get like that opportunity, I think anyone would want to like experience it, you know. And
Yeah.
it was like very exciting getting to like even just from like the standpoint of being someone that is like a photographer or like a videographer, just to see all the behind stuff and
Yeah.
how like
Production.
how it was really cool, and they had really amazing people working, just they knew exactly what to do there, and it was kind of amazing to see the whole production of it all, and like all the employees and how nice they were, and like they make you feel comfortable, but it was very out of my comfort zone, like the whole like being on stage part of it all. And like just learning covers, and you had to choose from a specific list of covers, so it wasn't like you could just go in there and do like I would have probably wanted to do like Blaze Foley. Like I love doing like those old covers
Yeah.
at shows and feel more comfortable. But yeah, like I said, just to have the opportunity was really awesome because I grew up loving Gwen Stefani. Like she was really cool to me. So getting to see her, I think really the gift from it all was like getting to hear that she liked my voice. I was like, "It's so cool that she liked it," So
Yeah.
it gave me some confidence.
What season was that?
22. Yeah.
It was
So
year 22
uh,
or season
year.
22? I don't know what.
Yeah, I think it's the year is the season number. So
Okay.
yeah, it's crazy that there's that many
Been that
seasons.
long?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know. I remember it when I was really small, like the first year of American Idol. That was probably the only season I really watched because I was like a little kid. But after that, I'd never watched The Voice, but I just thought I would try it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, it would be nerve-wracking. What city did you have to like try out in? Like I don't even know what that process is even like, but
It was online. I said like I tell everyone I probably wouldn't have done it if like I had to
oh,
actually go. Yeah, not in like a bitter way, but just like in a very shy introvert way.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I did it online. I think they had it all virtual because of it was still a little bit like
Yeah, the COVID
permanent
stuff.
the COVID, yeah. But I did a Blaze Foley cover, and it was like on my webcam, really like lo-fi and last minute. And I just like sent it in, and I got a call. It was really crazy. I didn't expect it. It was wild. I was out here all by myself when I got the call, and I'm like, okay, I need to force myself to go out and celebrate this with like one person.
Yeah, one
So
person.
yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's pretty wild. Who
It
else
was
was judging that year?
Blake Shelton was there, and he's not there anymore. And I am not like I don't know much about him, but I know more about Gwen Stefani than all of and then there was John Legend was there too. So
Yeah,
got kind of like the OG experience because I know he's not on there anymore, Blake Shelton. But you never know with these shows. He'll probably come back one day.
right. He did it for so long.
Yeah.
The Gwen, did they turn a chair or the Gwen?
Yeah. Yeah, Gwen and John Legend turned for me. Oh, there was another girl there, so I totally forgot the Cabello.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, she's more for like the younger generation, I think, because I'm not really well versed with her music,
Right.
she, but yeah, I got two people, so that was a big deal. I was like, I just need to get one person because my ego was like, if I get like
If
turned
no
down.
one turns, I'll never sing it again.
Never. I was just like, oh, I didn't wear my like contact lenses because I didn't want to see. I just couldn't. I had to go out there and like in my own bubble and just get through it.
Right. Yeah,
Mm.
that's great though. Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be a heck of an experience. I can only imagine.
it's so much production that's behind it. Like they give you schedules, and some days you won't even have anything going on. You're out there for like months at a time at a hotel. And it was a really weird experience for me because I didn't get to go outside really that much. I felt like I was like just in this strange world, but I mean, it was worth it in the end, I think.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got another friend there?
Yeah, that's my cat, Olive. He actually like brings me sticks. He loves these sticks like these. And he'll like bring them all to me and there'll be like a whole room of them by the time I turn around.
Yeah, he wants to play. That's what that is.
Yeah, he does. This is Olive. He's my little black cat.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's just me and my creatures out here in Bisbee. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's great. I appreciate you being on, like I said, and then kind of sharing your story. Uh, is there a website or just social media that people should follow you on in particular?
Yeah, I probably should expand a little bit and get better at all of that. It's overwhelming, all the social media
Oh,
things.
there's too many platforms. It's like
Yeah.
pick and choose. Like I don't know.
I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I'll just put something out and in all the places at once, and then I have to like go in my room and just,
Yeah,
like center myself. But yeah, I have Instagram. I put everything on there. If you want to see my little videos I make by myself, like to my music, it's all on my YouTube. And yeah, it's just probably Instagram is the most like central
yeah,
spot to put everything on there. It's just my name, so my full name.
that makes sense. Instagram because it's more photographs and pictures.
Yeah, it's more fun that way.
Yeah, that same here. I'm more active on that than any of it. I am
It's
terrible
kind of,
at TikTok. I'll be honest.
yeah, me
I
too.
started it and I was just like, I'll put some stuff. I'll post a picture or a video and not even put a description, and I just can't even. I don't even want to deal with it. Like, here's a picture. That's it.
Yeah, it's very like fast for my brain. I don't know if you feel that way, where you're just like it's very fast to process all of it that's like being shown to you at once.
Yeah,
And
it's like
like, why am
information
I doing this
overload.
to myself? It's like you really mean to do this to my brain.
Right. Well,
But
thanks again. Yeah, like I said, hit me up if you're ever in this part of the country, and
yeah, I appreciate that. Same to you.
yeah,
There's so many things to see out here in Bisbee. Probably so many people you could talk to out here and music you could see. So
yeah.
thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Well,
Hopefully
have
I
a.
wasn't too rambly.
Oh no, that's what I like. The shows like this. We just laid back.
Okay, cool. I'm glad my animals didn't like cause any chaos. My lamp is like about to fall because of my cat. So we made it through.
All righty. Well, I'll talk to you later. Thanks a
All
lot.
right. Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you.
You too.